Welcome to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons, the author. Every Thursday right here on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Spreaker at 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Today's show is sponsored by the family of Laura Simmons. If you would like to be a part of the Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons, contact her at 765-630-4431. Welcome to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons. I am Laura Simmons, your host. Where's my co-host at?
Hello, I'm back. Hi, I missed my cue. I heard him. So let me say, I am Ursula D.Allen, your co-host.
Yay, boo. How you doing?
I'm good.
We got Chi-Town in the house and what?
A-Town.
What a combination, right? Well, you guys know this is the end of for us the end of it's coming to an end for the month of breast cancer awareness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
October. Yep.
Yep. So we're getting ready to come to an end. Y'all know what next month is, right? It's my birthday month.
Yes. Oh Lord, I thought you were talking about it was Thanksgiving, or what they call Indigenous people celebration.
No, that's Scorpio birthday come up first, baby.
Yeah, I didn't acknowledge that part.
Yeah. Oh, you foul. But to close because we're getting ready to close out the month of October, just wanted to remind you ladies to get out there and get that breast mammogram. Your mammogram. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it is so important. It can save a life. So let's make sure you're getting those checkups.
And then not only, it doesn't always have to be something detrimental or bad news. They can just let you know what your what the tissue inside of your breast looks like, so that you can know what's going on with your body, and the longer you wait, when you go, as we get older, our breasts become more dense. So more than likely we may have to go back. But once you get that initial mammogram, they get to see what your breasts look like. Then you might find out some things about your body that you didn't know that is just hereditary. I have a friend, she has like extra fatty tissue in her breast, but she didn't know that until she went to get her mammogram. And nothing is wrong. It's just that, they told her, if you ever go anywhere or if you ever feel this, in your self-examinations, just to know that you have extra fat cells in your breast. And it's because she went, got her annual mammogram. So y'all take care of that. Y'all make it a yearly thing, or however. I used to have to go every 6 months because
it's a scary thing.
It is, but it's one of the things you have to kind of just pray and face it. And because most times the things that they see on the mammograms, most of the times it's like shadows or something that was on your skin, but you just have to go on and take care of it,
right.
Like I was saying, I used to have to go twice a year because I had a skin cyst, and every time I would go, they say, "Oh my gosh, you got this," and I'm like, I know. So I finally was encouraged to get it removed. I got it in June, and so when I go for my next mammogram, they'll probably still want me to come back because I got scar tissue now, but at least they'll know what we're dealing with, because they have something to compare it with. But just ladies, get those.
Every year I do it
out.
twice too. Yeah, the same thing with me. I have to do it twice every time when I go because of the same thing. But It's called something else, and I can't think of the correct word for it and the term for it, because my sister used to tell me all the time, don't worry, sis, don't stress out. It's not something to worry about. She said, because I go through the same thing every time I go. So, I go twice. I have to go twice myself to do the exam twice. And the first time it happened to me, it really, really, really messed me up. I was so messed up, because I was like, oh God, what did they find? What did they see? And the nurse told me afterwards, she said that she told me, she said that she don't like the way they do things, because the person that's doing the exam can't tell you what they see or whatever the case may be or whatever. So she said, yeah, and it's a scary feeling that you got to walk out of here with the thought of what could be wrong.
Yes.
And then so that's why it's so important. Go get them checkups, y'all. Put that boob up there on that thing and say boopity boopity boop.
Taking base.
As y'all may notice that I have on the teal. The teal is for ovarian cancer. So get that checked out as well, because that's a silent killer. It doesn't give you no kind of signs, no knots, no nothing. It just show up one day, and and in most cases it's hard, like I said, it's hard to detect. So you make sure you're getting your checkups, getting your physicals like you're supposed to, and things like that.
Right.
So, I wear my teal for my mom. I lost my mom to ovarian cancer. So I make sure that I wear my teal every time, because I miss my mom.
Oh, I know you do. I know you do.
That's my buddy.
But as long as there is a you, there's a her.
There's her. That's right. I love that. All right, guys. I don't want to hold you guys up. Today, our guest is screenplay writer John Alexander, aka Coach John Alexander. He is here with us today, y'all.
Yay!
How you doing, Coach John?
I'm good. I finally made it to the
good.
I am here.
You what?
I am made it to the big time. I am here. I am so hyped. I don't know what to do with myself. Now I have made it to the big time. Man, this is gonna be wonderful. Man.
Thank you. We appreciate it. So I'm your girl, author Laura Simmons, and we got my girl Ursula Allen here.
Miss Allen, how you doing? Fine. Welcome.
I'm good.
Your show. Welcome to your show. So,
nice to meet you.
Same here. Glad to be here. Glad to kick it with you guys, and glad you guys mentioned the breast cancer awareness month. I lost my mom in 98, lost my dad in 95, so I knew how it is. So I was very, very young when I lost both my parents. So yeah. So
yeah. So getting those exams is so important. It is very, very important. And like
definitely.
I said, ovarian cancer is one that it does not give you any kind of signs. It don't give you no notice, no nothing. It's just that you have to make sure that you are getting your pap smears regularly, and you are getting your physicals regularly, because sometimes it will give you something inside of you will happen where you will, when you go for your checkups and stuff, they can detect stuff. So I make sure I get my stuff done all the time, because of the fact that I lost my mom to ovarian cancer. So I make sure I get everything checked. I recently lost my auntie in 2019 to breast cancer. So I make sure that I get checkups like I'm supposed to. So I know it runs in the family. Yeah. So Coach John, on a good note, let's see how you doing. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Well, I was a hitman for a few years.
What? I'm like, I gotta go.
Wrong person, right?
This is how you break the ice. But no, seriously, I'm Coach John. Been writing screenplays since 2000. No, since '99.
Wow.
Yeah, been writing screenplays since '99. Spent some time in Los Angeles. Went to UCLA. Worked on a Warner Brothers set. Worked on BET. Wow. Worked on a few shows and stuff like that. Started ghostwriting for other folks in 2007. And then about 2 years ago, I became a screenwriting coach because one of my clients that I wrote a screenplay for asked me, "Hey, coach, can you teach me how to write screenplays because a producer wants to hire me?" So I said, "No problem." And then it just kind of happened by accident, just like that. So now, over 40 graduates later, here I am.
Wow, that's awesome. And you said you got started back in '99?
Yeah, really, I got started thinking about movies back in '91 when I was in middle school. Sure, I'm telling you my age. I was born in '76. I'll show you my age. When Boys in the Hood came out, so they kind of started me on that path a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I did a movie. It was supposed to be just a regular class movie. I did a gangster movie, one of them Down and Out, and I used my friends to do the movie. And we used blood for we used ketchup for blood. And I actually sold a lot of copies because, you know, you did a movie, you got a camcorder, you did a movie. People gonna say, "Oh man, let me watch it." So I sold some few copies of it. And then when I was at Norfolk State University, I went to Norfolk State. You hear me? I said went. Okay, I went. Okay. I didn't graduate, I went.
Okay.
The professor during the classes loved that I wrote stories. And it was funny, the professor put me to the side, and I had a lady with me, right? So the professor like, "Man, I love your stories, John." He said, "Man, those stories talking about these chicken heads." And he said, "You talking about these chicken heads all the time." And he didn't know, he didn't know, bless his soul. So the professor, he didn't know, bless his soul. Now remember I told you I was with a lady, right?
Yeah.
A young girl. He bless his soul. So he was like, "Man, I love those stories about these chicken heads, right?" So he said, is she one of the chicken heads you be talking about in your story?
Oh my goodness.
So by reaction, she looked at me like I was funny. She looked like it was crazy. And I said, by reaction, I said, "No, not this one." So she, you know, "Hey, what are you calling me a chicken head in front of your professor?" So
wow.
He ain't no better. It was back in the 90s, line 98. He ain't know about no chicken head. So
so what?
Go ahead. Hello.
So what made you decide you wanted to become a screenwriter? What really pushed you into it?
I always had a passion for movies, and I said I want to tell my story because I used to act. I did. That's why I left Norfolk State, because I did the Chitlin circuit at the time, stage plays. Back before the Tyler Perry boom, they called it the Chitlin circuit. So the producer came to me and said, "We want for you to come tour with us during the summer when school let out." I said, "Fine, okay. We can pay you $450 a week, and you don't even have to sing." I'm like, "What?" So I'm like, what, 20, 19, 20. And I said, "Yes, I will go." I get to travel. The first time I actually drove through a mountain was through West Virginia. And I'm like, "Man, we're driving through a mountain." So I get to experience a lot on the road at that time. So, but when my mom died, I came home and I said, I want to be behind the scenes. So at that time, back in '99, you couldn't upload it. You had to buy the actual script. So I bought 2 screenplays. I bought Boys in the Hood, and I bought the pilot episode of Dallas. So I could learn how to write film and television. And I used that, bought some books, learn how to write a career letter to different producers and agents, learn how to use it. And then a couple years later, one of the producers from Warner Brothers saw my career letter and saw my script, and he loved it. He said, "You kind of green. Very good. We want you to come down if you want to." He flew me and my homeboy out to L.A. And that's my first time being out of L.A. First time I actually flew. And it was crazy. But I flew to Los Angeles, and we decided to check out the class. He said, "Listen, if you want to move here, that's fine." I said, "Oh, yeah, I'm going to move here." So that was in November. Class started in February. So right after the Super Bowl, I decided I'm going to take my car, leave Virginia, never drove past 5 hours before, and I'm going to drive here from L.A. in the dead winter.
Wow.
So the producer told me, he said, "You sure you want to do that?" I said, "Yeah, I want my car. I need my car." He said, "I can fly, I can bring you, I can give you an airline ticket." He said, "No, keep it. I'm going to drive."
Oh,
so
my.
that Monday morning, class started a week after. So I decided to get there a week early because it took, like they said, 3 days to get there. So
yeah,
I decided to get on the road, and I got on the road like 8 o'clock. So 4 hours later, I was still in the state of Virginia. And I parked on the side, and I answered, called the producer and said, "Remember that plane ticket you offered me? Can I get it?"
He said,
he said, "Sure."
He knew you was gonna change your mind. Sound
I'm
like
telling you.
I think I was in Blacksburg, Virginia. So 4 hours later, I'm still in the state of Virginia. And like I said, I decided to pull over. I thought about it for an hour. And I decided to drive back home and wait for my plane ticket. So that's how it all started.
Yeah, that's a ride. I'm glad you had second thoughts.
I did too.
Yeah.
I myself.
Yeah.
So that's how I started getting to screenwriting. I went to UCLA, learned more of the politics and more of the marketing part of it, how to get in certain unions, how to become members of certain branches, writing for being part of a writing team, learning how to do that, all the other stuff that you learn as a screenwriter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So do you feel?
And at that time, and it was kind of ironic at the time, it was only 3 Black people out of 32 people in the class. Me,
Wow.
this other Black dude, and the actual professor.
That wasn't Tyler, was it?
Huh?
That wasn't Tyler Perry, was it?
No. He's still working. He's still in the business. So it was 3 people. It was a producer, me, and this other Black dude. So, and I learned right off the bat that, hey, people that look normal in LA are homeless too. I'm like, because the Black dude I was with, I asked him, I said, "Look, I need a place to stay. So where you staying at, man? Where you staying at?" He said, "Man, I'm sleeping in my car."
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And I saw him
somebody
sleeping.
told me that California, they said that one of my friends said that she went to California, and she said that she's like, the part that you will be, she said, "I know you," because she know how I am. And so she said that the part that will really get you is when you see all those people under the viaduct sleeping. That's where they live. And she said it was so. She said that yeah, and she said that I ain't never been to California. And that's one of my dream home places. I always wanted to go there. I always talk about it. All my friends know that's one of the places I want to go. And she was telling me that she said that what happens is, a lot of people have dreams and they go follow their dreams, but some of them don't make it. And she said, this is what happens to them. They end up homeless. So yeah, that's scary.
Some of the people that you think they look clean, they smell good, but they homeless. It's like, wow. Because some people in my classroom was homeless. And I'm like, wow, are you kidding me? And I caught myself homeless one time, but that was me being stupid because I decided during NBA All-Star Weekend to leave one hotel on a Saturday morning and try to get another one. And I couldn't find one. So I rented a car. I had money saved when I came. So I slept in the car overnight at the Beverly Center parking garage, which is a mall. and slept there. And I said, I won't do this again. And then I finally got a place to stay. A guy had a contract for London, and he would be gone for 5 years. So I had a place to stay to sublease because LA is high. And yeah, it is high. Back in 2002, a 1-bedroom apartment was $1,800.
Woo!
Yeah.
In California?
In California.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
gas
the cost
at
of living
that
is
time
high.
in
You
LA,
got
gas at that time was already $3.
In 2002. Wow.
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 That's a lot.
Yeah, the cost of
So
living is really high.
yeah. Is there like a particular style of screenplays you prefer to write?
Not really, because I teach my clients, my students learn how to write all genres. Because some studio may decide, okay, say for instance, you try to pitch them a drama, right? And they say, we love your writing, but we want to hire you to write a screenplay for us. Now, according to the Writers Guild of America, which I try to get people to understand, the low end to write one screenplay, not several, just one, the low end is $79,000 to write one. The high end is $165K. Just one.
This is for you to write it?
Yes,
or
right.
This is for you, this is what you get paid for?
Just to write it. One screenplay. Not a salary. Just write one screenplay. The low end is that's what I try to tell people. Y'all leaving money on the table. $79,000 on the low end. $165,000 on the high end. And check this out. If they tell you have to rewrite the script, that's an additional $33,000 they will pay you on top of what you've already made from writing the first one. They will pay you an extra $33,000 just to do the rewrite of the script that you already wrote the first time.
And when you say they, who is this? The studios?
Studios, production companies.
Okay, so you saying that if you pitch your screenplay to like the studios or something, and they accept it, that's how much you can make from pitching from your screenplay if they decide to pick it up.
If they decide to pick it up, now here's the thing: if they decide to pick up your screenplay and buy it, you can make over 5, 6, 7 figures. It depends on if they like it to that fact. So you can make one. Now, this is just selling your screenplay. I'm not talking about them hiring you to write their screenplay.
Right.
So while you waiting to sell your screenplay, you can get hired to write a screenplay for them. So they say, well, we love your writing. We're gonna wait and try to sell the screenplay for you or get it produced. But in the meantime, I love your writing so well, I'm going to hire you to write this screenplay that we thought about as an idea. So you're getting paid to write a screenplay for the studio.
Wow.
Now, say for instance,
Ursula, we need to get on that.
Now let's go back to if you sell your screenplay. Okay, 2 things can happen. You can sell your screenplay outright and get paid high 6 figures. If you decide to not sell the screenplay and get money on the back end, it's more money on the back end of that. So you get less, like a lower $200,000, $100,000. You get lower 6 figures, but you get money on the back end. You can get an extra $250,000 if the movie goes in production. Plus, you can get revenues. You get residual income, and I realized that residual income is real because when we was in LA, we wrote this movie for a company from Amsterdam, somewhere like that. So we signed a deal whether if it gets made into a film, then we're gonna get the residual income from it when it get played on TV, radio, whatever, however they live stream it. Right. So about a year later, about 18 months later, I got a check in the mail for $475.
Whoa.
I'm like, what is this? And then I looked at it. It was actually from the movie that we wrote that we was getting residual income for, because they want us to get residual income. We didn't expect to get it. So for about 2 years, each and every month, I was getting a $475 check for 2 years. And then the third year, I was getting $375 from that. And I think the last time I got a residual income from it was about a year or so ago. Something happened. They played it somewhere, and I got like $275 for that. So
wow.
Also, every time they play the movie that you wrote, you get paid for it.
Yep.
Is that what? Oh, okay.
Residual income,
Wow.
just like in the music business. Each time your record played, if you sign that deal, you get money on the back end. You get that money on the back end. Each time your record plays, you get money for it.
Mm-hmm. You know, that was the reason why I remember when me and Coach John, we was working on a project together a few years back. And you remember the guy decided he didn't, know, he changed his mind because my attorney stepped in, and it was just a mess. But that was one of the reasons why my attorney said what she said, because they were talking about, they wanted complete control over my movie, and then they wanted to take what they wanted to do was they was going to pay me for the play verse of it, but they wanted to keep the movie so that they could turn it into a movie later if they want to, and I wouldn't get anything from it. That was the reason why my attorney was the way she was about the whole situation.
See, like what I did when I first sold my first screenplay, I was just happy, young, and I sold it for $75,000. I just sold it outright.
Oh my God!
But they butchered it. They did whatever they want. They changed everything from it. I mean, I just sold it like I would never do it again. Because I talked to my agent. He said, "Man, I got an agent at the time. He said you could have got $100,000 for that and money on the back end." So the movie that we did, Sessions, we getting definitely big money on the back end. We're supposed to start filming that next month. It's going to be a June 2022 release. BET got the first look. You know how stuff got first look? BET, Sony Pictures, and since it's going to be a tour, we're getting money off the tour as well.
Wow.
So that's how you get money on the back. So, yeah.
Can I ask you? Can I ask you how? You're saying, you get these offers or whatever. How do you get that appointment to pitch your screenplay?
I'm glad you mentioned that. Now, what I do with my students, and I did it, I got to do some more. I send out what is called a query letter. This is for people that don't know anybody in the business, don't know anybody. So I sent out a query letter. And the query letter would consist of your log line and your synopsis of your story. I will send it out to different producers. I will CC you in the email so they know that if they respond back, we both will get the email response. So I call this people that have no connections at first. Will send it out. Another avenue to do is Screenplay Contests, which somebody in the industry have to read your screenplay. Now, a lot of times you don't even win the contest, but a producer may call you and say, "Listen, Miss Ursula, I'm sorry, hopefully I pronounced her name right. I'm calling you Miss Allen. I love you. I read your screenplay, and I'm a producer at Sony Pictures or whatever, and I would like to talk to you about moving your screenplay forward." You might get one of those calls, even though you didn't win the contest.
Right.
So that's another avenue.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, that's another avenue to take. There's a lot of avenues you can take when it comes to screenwriting. So I tell people this. I said, listen.
Wow.
Yeah, so you can put it in the screenplay contest. Someone in the industry is going to read it, just like the query letters. Someone in the industry reading your query letters. Because I had a meeting with a guy from Hallmark when I was in Atlanta last week, and he remembered that I pitched, that I sent off a query letter for one of my students' screenplays. And he said, "Hey, Wedding Day." I said, "Yeah, who wrote that?" I said, "Miss Deneen O'Connor. Can you send me that screenplay?"
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And then at that same meeting, my team is now putting together a Mother's Day, African-American Mother's Day treatment for him in hopes that they can write it and he'd be able to send it to Hallmark and send it off, because I did not know that once your screenplay gets made into a movie, Hallmark pays you $22,000 every time your movie gets played on Hallmark.
Shut up.
What?
Yep.
Because they
Shut
play
the
those
door.
movies. They recycle those movies
Over and over.
every season.
Yes.
And then during the holiday season, they play the heck out of them.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, they sure do. I love Hallmark. I
I do
love to
too.
watch Hallmark, but I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
want to get my
right.
movies on Hallmark.
So right now my team is coming together because I was in the meeting. I'm like, wow, y'all better get on it. So they coming out. I think we're supposed to send them the treatment hopefully by tomorrow, and then they're gonna be writing the script for it, and then we take it from there.
Man.
Wow.
So I tell people the power of screenwriting is there. You just got to stick with it. There's money to be made. If you take my course, you will learn from A to Z. Learn how to write a screenplay from formatting, write a query letter, and you'll have that skill set enough and be confident enough that if a producer asks you, can you write me a romantic comedy? Can you write me a sci-fi? You'll be able to say, yeah, just let me know. Because I just got one student, well, she's a trainer now. She's writing a 30-page palette, which is a half an hour. Each page in the screenplay is a minute. And she's getting paid $2,500 just to write a 30-page script. That's it.
Wow.
Wow, that is awesome.
Wow.
Wow.
How complex of a process is it to actually write a screenplay?
It all depends on your discipline. You can be, in my class, you got 6 weeks to do it. It's all about discipline. It's all about you wanting it. You wanted to learn it. And that's it. Once you come out of my training, because the first session is learn how to format a screenplay, because you're going to have homework. Your homework is to write your screenplay. So, and then each and every week we'll go over your homework. So I hold you accountable of writing your screenplay anyway. So that's one thing about my class, that a lot of people that pay thousands of dollars to these classes and never learn how to write a screenplay. I said, wait a minute. How in the world you paid $15,000 and have not even wrote a screenplay until they come to my class? It's like crazy, like wow. So,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Coach John has actually helped me with a bunch of things. I had went through the scam with someone, and I paid about that amount. What he's talking about, and I had to go to Coach John to help me out, and we he helped me out with a lot of stuff. So yeah, Coach John is good.
Thank you.
It's good. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, what is your favorite projects have you that you ever worked on?
My last project, I always say that because you're still a working process. So my last one is always my favorite one, because you always try to get better after your last project. Because if you sit down and think, oh, that was my good project, and then you sit on your morals and say, well, I'm going to live off my own project, then you won't be able to grow as a writer if you can't continue to move forward and continue to write. So my last project is always my favorite one.
Wow.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's a good. Thank you for that, because that makes me think of now. It makes me think to myself. It said someone asked how many screenplays have you written? You wrote.
There's a lot, because I started as a ghostwriter writing screenplays, so there's a lot. I still got a lot that that's a lot of them. A lot.
Give us a guesstimate.
Had to be over 100.
Wow, that's a lot.
It had to be over 100 because clients would pay me to write screenplays for them, and
right,
so it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that.
So, Coach John, can I count on you to help me with my my movie?
Well, we already supposed to be doing that, right?
Yes, I'm ready. Yep, and I'm ready. I'm ready to get started. You know, we was already talking about camera people already for it and things like that. A videographer and all it, you know, we was just talking about those people already. And so we just need to get started on where we're gonna start filming and stuff at.
Okay.
So,
Well, when you're
so we
ready,
ready.
okay, just let me know.
And
And Coach
I'm
John,
sorry, go ahead.
you just recently opened the school in Atlanta, right?
What we're going to.
Okay.
That was the purpose of going
So
down there
yeah.
last week. We're going to. So we're trying to open that up and open one in your area, Chicago, LA. We want to be able to build where people can come to schools all over the place, because that was the plan. But COVID kind of stopped that because of COVID. So now, since we're still in COVID, but we're trying to make that happening. But now I'm taking speaking gigs. Like if someone wants me to come down and speak to a bunch of people about screenwriting, he just send me down. I'm ready to talk. So that's pretty much it. So yeah. And what else is going on? Of course, we got the movie that we're about to do. One of my teams, I got a screenwriting team, so to speak, in New Jersey, New York. So they really want me to come down and speak to them. So I'm just all trying to be all over the place.
That's pretty awesome.
What was your question, Ursula, that you had for him?
No, I was gonna ask, do you think that the people who are getting into screenwriting nowadays, do you think you had it harder, as opposed to nowadays people got all this social media and YouTube? Because it's a lot of writers who get their starts on YouTube, but which way do you think you had, you had it more difficult or what?
Yeah, we had it more difficult. Definitely had more difficult in the early 2000s, because we didn't have the outlets that we have now. So we had network TV, couple cable channels, and it was kind of harder to do that. Nowadays, and I was told this by someone in the industry, a publisher. I forgot what major publishing company is, but they say it's harder to get a publisher than it is to sell or get your screenplay produced.
I can believe that.
There's a lot of content out there, and there's a lot of there's a lot of avenues to take when it comes to putting your screenplays out there. You got the Netflix, you got the YouTube, you got all these other apps, Hulu, that you can actually start writing. Now they've got writing contests where we're writing contests. They got other people that open up their studios now for new writers. There's a lot of avenues out there, because sooner or later you're gonna take your book and turn it to a screenplay anyway, if your book is like that. So
okay. Someone asked.
Go ahead.
Someone asked, what is the difference between a screenplay and a script?
Well, a screenplay is for TV, film, or video games, because you can make money off of video games as a script writer.
Wow.
A script writer can be same. It's mostly the same thing, but a script can be a television script, a movie script. It can also be a manuscript, a book, or it can be a teleplay, which is for theater. So that's different. A screenplay is just what you see. It's for the screen. It's for the small. It's for the big screen. A script can be anything but manuscript. You just put the prequel in front of it, manuscript. That's how that is. But that's the difference. But it's not too far of a difference. But that's the difference. So remember, a screenplay is anything for television, film, or now video games.
Oh wow. Okay. How long would you say it would take to write a screenplay?
I say it all depends on you. I say to me 6 to 8 weeks.
Mhm.
The fastest. It can take 2 to 3 months for some people. But I say 6 to 8 weeks if you really dabbing into it. About 6 to 8 weeks.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
I guess like you said, depending on your drive and your schedule and the
Correct.
time you commit to it, to the process.
Correct.
Somebody asked, what makes a great screenplay?
Um, Someone telling you that is a great screenplay or producer. No, if you did it yourself. Uh, no, I mean, what makes a great screenplay is character development, which you'll learn that if you ever come to the class. Character development, the dialogue in a screenplay. Dialogue is the most important part. A book tells you what's going on. A screenplay shows you what's going on. And I always tell my students, what you cannot see do not belong in a book. I mean, do not belong in a screenplay. Because you only have 90 or
What you
90
can't.
to 120 pages to tell a story in a screenplay. Because each page in the screenplay is a minute.
Oh, okay.
So, what makes a great screenplay is a great story. It got to be a great story, and it got to be character driven.
Wow.
If you got an all action, then it's
Okay.
just action. You can still have some character driven scenes, but it all depends on the story from the beginning to the end. I always say this: if a producer, if you sit across from a producer and he's reading your screenplay, if he's not, if he's leaning over or turning the pages, making facial expressions while reading it, never looking up at you, he's turning, everything's quiet, boom, 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 you got him. But if he keeps looking up at you, asking you questions about your screenplay, then you ain't done your good job. So that's
Oh
how I tell
wow. Okay.
you. But for the
Hmm.
producer,
So how long? So what do you start with? Structure or scenes?
sometimes if you and I tell clients this, my students, if you got a story in your head, you just got the synopsis, the premise of the story, right? But you don't have
Mhm.
the breakdown of the actual story. And I tell my clients this, my students, there's 3 acts. Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. Act 1 is the beginning. You're building the characters, you're building the front story. Act 2 is where everything goes down. And Act 3 is the climax. How you're going to um, deal with adversity, your triumph, all that. That's the ending, Act 3. And I tell
Hmm.
sometimes, listen, if you stuck with something and you don't have the actual story from scene to scene, just write down a story outline. You can put it down on Word or your phone. Just write down a scene and then write down what's taking place in that scene. So say for instance, we in like um, Laura's bedroom night, and then you just write down what's happening in your bedroom. Then we'll go from Miss Allen's car, and then we'll talk about why Miss Allen is crying in her car. Um,
Oh,
over,
I'm sad. I'm sad.
over Mike, who did her wrong, and then you you just write down your scenes. It don't have to be in alphabetical order or chronicle order. You can put that once you finish. Just write them out so it won't leave your mind. So you can be at work and like, oh, I thought about a scene. Let me put this in my notes in my phone, and then you have it saved. So whenever you go back, you have all your scenes written out, and then that's when you can start the script.
I have a quick question.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what is the difference between writing like a book and a screenplay? What
Oh
is the
Lord,
major
oh Lord,
difference?
oh Lord, We can do a whole nother show on this one. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh Lord. Like I said, a book tells you, a screenplay
Mm-hmm.
shows you. Let me give you an
Mm-hmm.
example. In a screenplay, each scene, each page in a screenplay is a minute. So if you have a 500-page book, you had to condense that into at least 120 pages. So all that fluff stuff that's in a book would not belong in a screenplay. For example, all those doggone sex scenes that you get in them urban fiction books, 9 different sex scenes would not be in a screenplay. For example, if Tony got shot and he walks in and Tamika is trying to clean the blood up, you gonna still have sex? Like really? Like sex in a urban fiction is almost like protocol to like you gotta sing in every black stage play. Like really? Like you gotta have 9 different sex scenes. Like, well, daggone, you just had sex. You just had sex just a few minutes ago a day. And I tell people this, and then you want to show your private parts. I said, you can have the best story in the world, but if one of those manhoods or those private parts is shown, your film went from an Oscar-winning film to a porno movie.
Oh, wow.
So all those books that have been showing the man's manhood or the what you call it, like, unless the manhood has some swords in them, like it transformed like the Incredible Hulk or something, or the lady's vagina turned into flowers and it turns into like some type of couch or some type of smoke signal or something like that.
Oh,
you
that's
don't
too
need
abstract.
To put that mess. You don't need to put that mess in the screenplay. It's no need for it. No need. No need.
That explains why in movies you see a lot of times they don't show that part of the scene. They don't show that in the scene.
Even in gangster movies. When have you seen that in Men's Society or Boys in the Hood or New Jack City?
Oh no.
Think about it.
No.
And most of these hood books are hood books trying to you don't see that. And all the fluff stuff that's in the book. For another example, when you describe a character in a screenplay, you only have 1 or 2 sentences. In a book, I know they go about 3 or 4 chapters describing one character. Like they talk about the boogers in his nose. You know, his eyeballs are curled up and he has long arms. All that. Also, you can't put feel in a screenplay. We don't know how he feel. You know, it's visual. So in a book, they may say, well, Jamal is feeling depressed. His heart is broken. He's been to prison for 5 years for armed robbery and stuff like that. We don't know that, you know, but in the dialogue can tell you, listen, man, my heart is broken. I'm depressed. I've been in prison for 5 years for armed robbery. The dialogue can tell it, but you cannot put it in his description because we don't see him being heartbroken. We can't see that. So we can't put the feel in a screenplay. It's all about visual. So that's the difference in a short term. Because I'm about to go off on that. I had to stop myself between a book and a screenplay. So a book tells you, a screenplay shows you.
Okay. What movie would you say is your favorite movie? What would you say was well put together to you?
Malcolm X.
Oh yeah, awesome. I love that movie.
And Shawshank.
I love that movie.
Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah. That was a good one. Yeah, that was a good movie too.
My class because I don't care how many times Shawshank Redemption comes on TV, I will watch it. And of course, Boys.
Now let me tell you what my favorite TV show is.
What is?
My favorite TV show is La Femme Nikita. I love that show. And the reason why I say this is because it was well put together. If you you sit back and you watch the characters in that movie, they made it look so real. The entire cast was they were all very good actors. The show was written well to me. I enjoyed that movie. That show rather. It had like 7 seasons.
You know what my favorite TV show is?
What?
The Young and the Restless.
Why?
Oh, really?
I grew up with it. That's how The Young and the Restless shows you how you can You can have drama, you can have comedy, and I just love watching it. I DVR'd as of today.
Okay.
Well, let me tell y'all my favorite TV show. I got two actually. One of them is Downton Abbey. It's no longer on. But I think they have like 6 seasons. Have y'all heard of that before?
I heard of it.
It's a
What
good
is it?
show. Downton Abbey.
No, I
It's
never
a
heard of that.
yeah, it's some people think it's kind of corny, but my other show is Queen Sugar.
Very nice.
Yeah, that's a bomb show, and direction is really nice, and I just love that show. I just love the tone of it. It's just I love that show. Someone asked, what is your
Wow.
most profitable
Someone asked a
screenplay?
question.
Oh,
250K.
Wow. Hold it. What was that?
Back in
From
2009.
wow.
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 And that was on the low end. And that was my first big WGA because it was part of the Writers Guild. Because they said, you're going to get Writers Guild money. I said, okay.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. So that was part of that when they said, man, we love this script so much that, you know, we going to buy it and take it from there. So, 250K. Now, there's a lot of movies out there, scripts, that they'll buy it from you. It may be 5, 10, 12 years before they actually go into production. So, yeah, they can buy it from you. You can get the high 6 figures, but maybe years before they go into production. But 250K was one I did, and it was it ain't take me but 8 weeks to complete it. So, and the other one, I did one for the Rough Riders because they came all the way down to Virginia Beach to meet. They wanted to do a hip hop story where they were rapping instead of having a regular dialogue. They wanted to rap. So we had to put the freestyle and all that stuff in there. So they came down there, and it was wonderful. They paid me up front $25,000 to get started, but after that was it. So nothing else ever happened to it.
Wow.
So
they just held on to it, but they paid all that money out.
There's money out there to be made.
Wow.
And there's been a lot of times.
Now I had
Go ahead.
I have a question. You keep mentioning the Guild. What is that?
The Writers Guild of America. Pretty much, you sell one screenplay, you in there.
Oh, okay. So it's not a fee that you pay to get into it. It's something that you have to first write before you can get in there.
Correct. Sell the screenplay first before you get in. So, and then they got fees. But I'm gonna tell you the secret about the Writers Guild, though. A lot of people that's in the guild don't make the money that they're supposed to be making. So 80% of the people that's in the guild work off the WGA scale anyway. So they still got to pay the dues like we do, and still got to pay the dues, but most of them, 80% of them, is not working under the WGA pay scale.
So you don't really think that it's really worth taking classes at a regular college for screenwriting and making movies and things like that? You don't really think that's a real
you can or take my class, but I remember one time I went to a class and he was a very popular guy. I mean, for the first 15 minutes, he talked about his accolades, what he have done, what he's accomplished, what he's done, and all that stuff, and his awards, how many screenplays he sold, blah 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 blah. And his voice is so monotone. Avatar, Avatar, strawberry. I don't think people came back after the second class because he was so boring.
Oh wow!
Like you have to be, and that's why people love what I do, because I'm there. I love to have fun. I hate to be bored. I don't like to be bored sitting in the classroom. So that's how I teach. I don't like to be bored.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you see a lot of my students and getting a lot of results, because the way I teach them is stuff that I've already known and stuff that, listen, I'm not gonna bore you to death. You're gonna write a screenplay. You're gonna send it out there. So I do that because some of these professors, they'll take your money and say thank you. They don't help you afterwards. They just say, hey, you're on your own. You'll spend about 6 weeks learning the log line. And then I realized, oh, you went to his class because he done this, he done that. Yeah, but he was born. He was born. I mean, I should have came to you first. Well, I ain't had the class when you took it, but I should have came to you anyway. I said, okay. So you can claim you did this and did that and all that stuff, but if you're not teachable and you just basically so dry and your class is boring, I don't know.
So tell the people, how can they get in contact with you?
Well, right now until November 1st, you can call me at 757-805-4030. You can check out the website. I did the website myself, which I need to redo it again. But check out the website. It's www.coachjohnscreenwriteracademy.com. Now,
Okay, can you repeat that one more time?
Sure. www.coachjohnscreenwritingacademy.com. Now, I'm gonna mention this the first. You're the first people to hear this on the Lawrence Simmons greatest show of all time. The price right now until November 1st to take the course is $300. After November 1st, and I was told this by a couple producers when I was in Atlanta, that I had to raise my price. So, and I had to be less accessible to my graduates, to my students, unless they pay. So the first tier is $500, second tier is $1,000, the third tier is $2,100.
Oh wow!
Because now he said we up there now. You getting up there, so he claimed them big time. So somebody got to raise the price. So right now it's $300 until November 1st.
Okay. And on your Instagram pages, where could they find you at on Instagram?
I gotta find myself on Instagram.
Let me see if I can find it, because I did tag you on Instagram earlier today.
I ain't been on Instagram for how long? I think it's Coach John Screenwriting Academy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's at Coach John Screenwriting Academy.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
You know more than I do. I don't even have it.
Yeah. Oh, she put it up there too. They put it up there on the screen. Yeah, it's at yeah. So yeah, that is so cool. That is some great information to know, because I didn't realize that screenwriting, you can make that much money off of it. I did not realize that. I know that there was money to make in it, but I didn't know it was that much.
It's a $1 billion industry.
I don't think Ursula even knew it either. Did you, Ursula?
No, I didn't. I didn't know that.
Sure. Once you graduate my class, I'll put you out there. Once you graduate the class, I'll put you out there. So, and my television show, Real Dudes, will go in production in April in Atlanta by HBO. So we're waiting on that. So I'm looking forward to that. So, yeah. we're doing great.
She said, ask Tyler Perry. What we asking? Oh, yeah, because
It's a
he is a
$1 million
billionaire
industry.
now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. I had another question. For someone that has finished their screenplay, what do they do now? What's the next step for them? What should be their next step?
Well, once they finish the screenplay, it's time. That's the fun part. Is trying to go out there and market it and sell it, and get it produced.
Okay.
That's the fun part.
So, how do you find out about these contests? How do you find out about the writing contests and stuff?
I have some contacts that I have a lot of resources, so to speak, that I have that I can give my production company. Now, what I'm starting to do now is give them, once you graduate, give them my resources so they can start sending out their career letters themselves. Give them the resources of all the contests that is out there that they can apply for once they graduate the class.
Okay. Ursula, do you have any more questions? Because we're getting ready to close it down in about 5 minutes. So
nope, I learned a lot in this hour. I appreciate you.
Yeah, me too. I did too. I learned a lot. I truly appreciate it. Yep. So,
no problem.
Coach John, I'm gonna say this one more time. Let people know where they can find you. So, for those that may have just tuned in to the show, let them know where they can find you at. If they have any questions for you or they want to get into your class.
Call or text me at 757-805-4030. The website is there. Thank you, Miss Katie Lowe, at www.coachjohnscreenwritingacademy.com. Or you can find me on Facebook, DM me, and you'll probably be able to find me more than I find you on Instagram. So just call me right now or go to the website or DM me on Facebook. And I will be able to answer any of your questions that you currently have. Anything. No questions, never the wrong question. Don't be shy. And like I said, if you're ready to take the class, to be honest, right now it's $300 until after November 1st.
Oh, wow. That's a big jump.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is, because they laughed at me when I told them the price. They laughed at me. I said, yeah. He said you can't.
I'm coming to work for you, Coach John.
He said you can't cater to the broke people no more. He said, yeah, you're right.
I'm coming to work for you, John.
Okay. That sounds like a plan to me.
Well, guys, thank you, Coach John, for coming on our show today. We truly appreciate you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to coming again and being part of the award ceremony when you win your award for best podcast or best show. So I'm glad to be a part of it. I'm looking forward to having that. And I can at least say that I was part of the show when the show blows up and it becomes a national syndication show. So I am just honored.
Thank you, Lord.
And pleased to be on the show.
Oh, thank you so much. We truly appreciate you coming on today.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry to have to go.
Okay. All right. Today's show was sponsored by...
Welcome to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons, the author. Every Thursday right here on Facebook Live, YouTube, and Spreaker at 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Today's show is sponsored by the family of Laura Simmons. If you would like to be a part of the Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons, contact her at 765-630-4431. Welcome. I'd like to welcome you to the Church of What's Happening Now, right here on the west side of Chicago in the Austin community, where we have a special guest that is going to entertain us in song. She is somebody's grandma, the cooking grandma, better known as Grandma Lala. Sing that song, Grandma.
Down by the riverside, down by the riverside, I'm gonna lay down my burdens. Down by the riverside, down by the riverside, gonna study no war no more. Oh, it's getting hot in here, so take off all your clothes. Getting so hot. The roof is on fire. We don't need no water.
Let the song in here.
It's telling me no. But my body is telling me yes, baby. I don't want to hurt nobody.
I'm not trying to be
there's
rude.
Something.
I'm not trying to be rude, but
that I must confess.
Cut her mic.
I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind.
This is the church of what's happening now.
What just happened?
This is the church
you
of
don't know who I am, dude. I'm Grandma Lala, baby. I can sing wherever at anybody's church. I don't have to sing at your church. I can sing here. By the riverside, I'm gonna lay down my burdens. And by the riverside, study no war no more.
All right, Ursula, good show.